The Angels played 3 games in Houston this last weekend, and John and I made some bold predictions about this series against the Astros, and so did you. So we're going to check on how we did. Your bold predictions, our bold predictions. Plus, we're going to open up the mailbag and answer your Halo questions. You're Locked On with Mike and John, and this is Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And we thank you for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Those listening on the audio side, thank you for your rate and your review. It helps people find it. And if you're watching on the video side, you can subscribe, click the bell to be notified every time a new episode drops. And today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, it's where the game starts, Johnny.
Hey, thanks for joining us for this July 4th edition of Locked On Angels. You've got the Frisch Brothers, a.k.a. the Super Halo Bros, here with you. My name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
And color us red, white, and embarrassed after this last weekend and our stinker of bold predictions that we made last Friday, Michael. Though that was a brutal one, and things did not go the way that we thought they would this weekend. We had hope. And, of course, you can't go bold without the risk of being embarrassed after you've made your bold predictions. So, hey, you know what? We went bold. We were bold.
We did. Listen, I'm a dad, so I get embarrassed all the time. Or I embarrassed people.
You're supposed to embarrass the kids.
I embarrass the kids.
Yes,
that's what it is.
That's
all
what
right.
it's supposed to be.
Hey, Johnny, I'm going to recap the weekend for you. You ready?
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Here we go. 48 strikeouts.
Uh-huh.
4 total runs.
Uh-huh.
And 21 runs given up. Woohoo!
Boy. Wow. Hey, listen, I was in my good friend Steven's wedding this weekend as a groomsman, and so my weekend was pretty busy.
That's a nice distraction.
And it was a great distraction from the fact that we had 48 strikeouts, 4 runs, and 21 runs given up. I'm glad that I didn't have to pay too much attention this weekend.
You know, that Stranger Things season finale, it's really good.
Yeah. Did you watch that instead?
I did watch that. The Angels were just really pathetic this weekend. Sunday was really bad, struck out 20 times, John. And the thing that you and I've talked about and the Angel fans have talked about is how the Angels are watching these pitches go right down the middle. But Sunday, they were swinging a lot, but they still could not make contact. And all weekend long, it just felt like they couldn't make contact. Did you see the interview or read the interview with Jeremy Reed?
Yeah, Sam Blum from The Athletic tweeted a portion of some of the questions that got asked. Now, I got to make it clear that not every question that Sam posts is from him, but he will, gather questions from the post game and kind of put them all in one place for you. So what Sam and had collected was some questions about the hitter's approach at the plate and Jeremy Reed. And he said, are you concerned about your job given all the strikeouts and the approaches at the plate? And Jeremy Reed said, I'm not concerned about my job. I come here to do my job.
And it really felt like coach speak, right? Felt like he was just like giving all the right answers, or at least giving all the politically correct answers.
The last time someone got snotty and snooty with Sam Blum, they lost their job the next day. So, look, if you're going to get snooty with Sam, beware of job is what I have to say.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, you can tell that he's frustrated, but I don't quite understand why you're coming at the reporters, because they're asking the questions, whether they're fans or not, they're asking the questions of the fans, and the fans are wondering about that. And the fact that you're like, no, I came here to do my job. I get that. Right. But are you concerned about losing your job because the Angels have been pathetic? And so
when the hitting is bad, that's a reflection on the hitting coach. So Mr. Reed, Mr. Reed from Liar Liar. Mr. Reed, you should be concerned, my friend, because it's been such an awful stretch of Angels hitting. It's been awful. Mike Trout said after Saturday's game, he wasn't worried where the team was because they're at the halfway point at that point on Saturday. Yeah. And he thinks they can go on a run. Is that possible? Is that something the Angels can do? Well, I mean, 80 games is a lot of games left to be played. So I do like some of the changes that they made. They called up Michael Stefanic, so they were listening to Locked On Angels. They moved Taylor Ward to the cleanup spot on Sunday.
Yep.
And so they have, of course, again, another move that we've been calling for. Jonathan Villar was signed, who was just released by the Cubs. Now, you might look at that and be like, well, who cares? He just got released by the Cubs because he had a terrible 3 months with them.
He did.
But he is a third baseman. And if you want somebody to play third, you want them to be somebody who's played the position before. Not David McKinnon. God bless him. He's a great young player, a young talent, but he just looked overmatched as he's been playing third base.
Yeah.
And the new infield, according to Nevin, is going to be Villar at third, Rengifo at shortstop, Stefanic at second base. Of course, David Fletcher, his return is coming. You might see him at short. You might see him at second.
Yeah.
But out of all of that, the news that Tyler Wade was DFA'd was something that I've seen Angel fans kind of calling for. For some reason, I've had a soft spot for Tyler Wade since he's been struggling. And I think it's because I liked what he brought to the table at the beginning of the season. But Sam Blum said it best. He said that he probably is better on a contender where he's a supplemental piece, where he's somebody who comes in late in the game, can run the bases, pinch run, pinch hit, bunt, put down a single. And that's not this team, because we needed Tyler Wade in there every day. And that's not a position that you want to be in. And I think the same goes for Angel Velasquez. He's not an everyday guy. His defense is phenomenal, but as we've seen with his bat, not an everyday bat. And he's somebody that obviously earned his way into the backup position because he did not get DFA'd. But I will be interested to see what happens once Fletcher comes back. I can imagine probably that we'll see McKinnon go down back to AAA.
I think so.
We'll see what happens in the next few weeks before Fletcher comes back, because McKinnon still has a chance to impress. And so we'll see what happens there. So I like the moves. I like the Villar move. I mean, again, it's somebody who knows how to play third base, playing third base. But what do you think, Mike?
Well, let's talk two levels here. First of all, let's talk about Tyler Wade. I actually really like Tyler Wade. I'm with you. Got a soft spot in my heart for him. I think that he is just not really great at one particular thing. And the reason why they kept Velasquez is Velasquez is really great on defense. And so he can be a great defensive replacement late in the game. So I get that move. I think Wade's number was called and he was DFA'd because of what happened on Saturday. There was a play where it would have been a double play. It came at him at third and it bounced off the heel of his glove. And then you could tell he was upset with himself, rolled his eyes, really frustrated. And that was a moment where I was like, okay, this guy's probably on the cutting block because of something like that. Now, Velasquez does make mistakes, but Velasquez has been so smooth defensively
and he's
in the infield, and he's stealing bags. And so I get why they kept him. I think when we talk about Trout and him saying, well, it's the halfway point. Listen, here's the reality. We have 37 wins and we have to, we have 81 games left. I think we have to go at least 50 and 30, right? So that gets us to 80. That gets us to 87 wins, right? My math is correct here. And so maybe that gets us that final wild card spot, but we've put ourselves in such a hole that we're going to have to jump the Blue Jays and the Red Sox and even the Rays. Like the whole AL East might make it to the playoffs outside of Baltimore, right? And so we have a lot of work to do. And I get his high hopes, and I want to have high hopes too. But I think that the problem that I saw this weekend is something that a lot of people have talked about. We want Trout in the playoffs, but Mike Trout can't go 0 for 9 with strikeouts every single at bat if the Angels are going to go to the playoffs. And I know that he said he has a tough time seeing the ball at Minute Maid Park, but these are the teams that you have to beat. And you're not going to beat them if Trout and Ohtani do nothing. And I know Ohtani hit a home run, but he was kind of non-existent all weekend long as well. And even that stupid play on Sunday with Taylor Ward rounding first base and then them picking him off, doing a back pick. Like, first of all, why do you think that Jose Altuve is messing with you? And second of all, what the heck are you doing, first base coach? What the heck are you doing? You call him back. Get back. You're there, right? You didn't even know that the catcher was there. And if you did know, then you should be fired as of today, because
Yeah.
you messed up big time. And that, I think, was just kind of the epitome of where this team's head is
Yeah.
at right now. They feel very much like the team of last year and the team of the year before. When we
I don't know.
get
I
to the
think
bullpen,
last year
it's
felt better.
frustrating.
Last year
I think that what happened last year is that we didn't have these high hopes that the season was going to be really good. And this year we started off so well. And then we've seen this team when it's functioning really, really well. And then now we've experienced them in the last 2 months as a team that is just really hard to watch.
Absolutely.
Take a breath.
Yeah.
Just take a deep breath.
Exactly.
Well, listen, coming up on Locked On Angels, we're going to look at our bold predictions and we're going to look at your bold predictions, and we're just going to laugh at each other. But first, Locked On Angels is brought to you by our friends at Built Bar. They have given us a brand new puff. It's the Coconut Brownie Chunk Puff. That sounds like a WWE tag team. It's deliciously chewy. It's a marshmallow covered in 100% real chocolate. And the best part, they taste good and they're good for you. It's a low-calorie, low-sugar, high-protein puff. The Coconut Brownie Chunk Puff is here for just a limited time. So go to Built.com right now. And here's the good news. All of these Built bars, whether it's a puff or a bar, they're made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides a ton of health benefits. You can eat this. It tastes good, and it's good for you. I was taking these bars with me. My youngest daughter was playing in a basketball tournament. They were great at halftime because I was hungry and we didn't have any food around us. These bars are delicious. And this one you're going to want to get. Coconut, it's rich, sweet brownie, creamy marshmallow. That puff is here for you. Go to Built.com to order your box of the Coconut Brownie Chunk Puffs right now. Use the promo code LOCK15 when you do, and you'll get 15% off of your order. Go to Built.com right now today.
Well, we had ourselves some bold predictions last week, and we made some high hopes about what we wanted to see happen this weekend. I thought that the starters could get some quality starts. I thought all three could get quality starts. Unfortunately, Lorenzen, 3 innings pitched, 7 runs. Sandoval, 5 innings pitched, 5 runs. Jose Suarez, best outing of the weekend, by the way.
Yeah.
4 2/3 with 1 run. And
listen, he was on his way to a quality start.
Yeah.
Like when they brought Ortega in and Ortega blew it, I could just feel Suarez saying, guys, I could have done that.
Can you tell me, because, we were kind of out and about with the wedding and everything. Can you tell me what happened with Suarez? Did he have a high pitch count?
No, he was up around 70 pitches and he gave up a single. And then they came out. Bill Hasselman talked to him. It almost was a Phil Nevin moment where he was talking to him. Even the announcers were like, hey, maybe he's going to fire him up. Mm-hmm. And then he had Suarez put his head down. Suarez handed in the ball and walked off the mound. And then Suarez shook his head and was really, really upset. Went into the dugout. Brandon Marsh came over to talk to him. And he wasn't disrespectful, but you could tell he was like, come on. So I don't know what that conversation was about, but it wasn't time to take him out, I don't think. I think that he could have gotten that final out. But when they took him out, they gave up a run, tied the game, and then it just kind of fell apart from there.
Yeah. So those are my predictions. I thought the defense, the Angels could have, or the pitchers could have relied on the defense a little bit more. They had 1 error, like you mentioned, that Tyler Wade error. So that kind of cost some things there. But Michael, your predictions. Why don't you talk about your bold predictions?
I crushed it. I crushed it. I said McKinnon was going to hit his first major league home run. Wrong. I said Rengifo would be a key player this weekend. Can I take that one?
Yeah,
Can I have that one?
I'll give you that.
He did hit a home run, right? And then I said that there was going to be a sweep. Little did I know that it was going to be the Astros sweeping us instead of the Angels sweeping the Astros. Right. So I'm sorry about my pathetic picks as well. But Johnny, how'd the fans do? Because they sent us some really good ones.
Well,
on
let me
Friday's
just say
show.
that somebody tweeted at us and said, you guys called a sweep. And I said, one of us called a sweep.
You're not guilty by association today.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So Valzav13R on Instagram said 2-1 in favor of the Angels. That didn't happen. Gavin X Dragon said 1-2. That would have been a reasonable prediction.
Almost happened.
AGLS.art, I think it's Angels Art, just had a crying emoji, just a weeping emoji. Kyle.Barnhart said Angels get swept. Congrats, Kyle. You got that one. Connor.Vogel.750 on Instagram said Sandy shoves against his old team.
I wish.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Sandy. I'm a little sad about that.
Yeah.
But let's see. Big Wave Dave 44 said sweep the Astros, average 7 runs per game.
Come on, Dave.
Somebody averaged 7 runs per game.
Yeah.
Andrew Rizzle said Angels score a run. He was right.
That's great.
Sweep, we get swept. Jeffrey Rames said sweep. Rick Manda said we get swept.
Yeah.
Christian Cito said Angels pitching shuts out the Astros in 2 of the 3 games.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
C-Time 88 sweep with 2 shutouts.
Oh,
Fast Times Under the Halo had 3 broom emojis, and he wasn't wrong, technically. Ben F. 2732 said sweep. Jay Boogs 86. Sandoval or Lorenzen will throw a complete game. Man, that's one I would have gone with because those two out of anybody. But Lorenzen's just struggled so badly these last 3 weeks.
Yeah, he has.
Our good buddy, Shortest Stop, said Velasquez is going to get a home run off a starting pitcher.
That's a good prediction.
That was a good prediction. Yeah. I would have called that. But I think the Rengifo one is similar enough.
Yeah.
81 Uloa said sweep. Kevin 1055 said Angels win the series 2-1.
Oh man, that would have been great.
19 Rob Dog 91 said staying positive. We don't get swept. Rob Dog, I'm sorry, man. That's the kind of positivity we needed, and the Angels just let.
Listen, your name is Rob Dog. Stay positive, bro.
Right,
my dude.
Angels get shut out in all 3 games. Oscar the Great. Well, at least we didn't get shut out. That's something we can take.
Yeah.
And then Aggie Nicky said, part of my language here, he said, we sweep and no hit the Astros all 3 games. Depth is clutch, and we win every game 3-0.
He's my favorite Locked On listener.
So yeah, that also did not happen. Yeah. So I will say that some of us did very well and some of us did not. And those who leaned in the direction of, this team is not going to do very well, they won the bold predictions.
Yeah.
But what do we take away from this bold prediction segment? Well, the Angels fans still had some hope that this team can compete. I'd like to know how they're feeling after this weekend. But the other bold prediction, how do we feel about the bold predictions? We're never doing bold predictions again, Michael.
It's
are
off
just terrible.
Yes.
Yeah, we are never doing that again. We'll do mild predictions. We'll do mid predictions.
Yeah.
We'll do a prediction, but we're never doing bold predictions ever again because I think we could bite our tongue and shot ourselves in the foot with this one. Again, I'm looking forward to watching something else instead of the Angels like you did. Yeah. But fortunately, we have the day off. And we'll be able to celebrate the 4th of July and not have to worry about the score pinging us on our phones while we look at fireworks. And we'll think of happy times. We'll look up in the sky and think of the fireworks and think of the 4th of July and friends and family. And we'll say
pinging us or making us depressed. I wasn't sure. I wasn't listening. My earbuds didn't work there.
That's right. But no more bold predictions from Locked On Angels, at least from us, because that's a big fat offer for the 2 of us.
Maybe we should do best bet and let our friends at BetOnline actually dictate the stats and statistics and the ideas that we come up with.
Agreed.
They are the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info, which is what we need. You can find all the latest sports development, league reviews, and news. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. And BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports and events, including MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and actions. BetOnline is where the game starts.
We appreciate you guys sending in your bold predictions before the series began on Friday. That was bold of you. So well done there. We do have a few messages, Mike, that we got over the weekend that we looked at. So we did have some mailbag questions here. After 9 pod on Twitter at Jake's Takes 0. This is I like this guy. He always has great conversation and interactions with us. Yeah. And he's got his own podcast as well.
Nice.
What's the Halos infield look like after Fletcher comes back from the injured list stint? He said potentially third base, Villar, shortstop Rengifo, second base, Fletcher, first base, Walsh, and possibly McKinnon kind of sharing time there. I would have to agree with that. I mean, Nevin said it himself that it's going to look something like that. I imagine Velasquez will stay up with the team. I think if anybody is going to get sent down to make room for somebody else, I think it's going to be David McKinnon. I think that he might be able to benefit from some time in AAA, even though we've really wanted to see him as part of this team. And I like what he's brought to the table so far. And certainly I think he's a perfect backup for Jared Walsh. I think Jared Walsh needs to be in there every day. I don't know, was there something going on with Jared Walsh on Sunday? Because he sat and pinch hit later, but was it just the lefty matchup?
It might have been a lefty
Valdez?
matchup. I didn't hear any information about that. I didn't hear anything about like, hey, he was tired or sore. But
see, I thought we were done with that.
I know
we were over that.
I was going to say the Angels seem to like do that a lot, where they get the guys back-to-back days off when they have a day off, but then they just do that. And I think when you have a team that doesn't really have depth, you can't do that too often. And you have a day off tomorrow, so let them have a day off, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
I think I would rather see Stefanic in there over Rengifo, because
that's true. I didn't think about that.
I think we know who Rengifo is. Yeah. And I'd love to see what Stefanic is. I don't know if you got a chance to read the backstory on Stefanic, but this guy, man, what a great story. And he was somebody that was supposed to be a high draft pick. He ended up not being a high draft pick. And then when the Angels got him, they signed him for less than like all of their draft picks. And then he ended up being more of a priority because he was able to hit. He's hit everywhere that he's gone. And so I'd like to see Stefanic and see what he has, because we're 7 games under 500 as of today. And I want to see that guy show us what he's got, not just offensively, but defensively.
It's about dang time that he's come up too.
Right.
Like, we've waited a long time to see him. And speaking of Stefanic, the next question comes from Marco Antonio at Marco Polo on Twitter. He said, this team's absolutely pathetic. Yes, agreed.
We agree.
8 hits and total of 4 runs in 3 games. Not to mention they strike out like little leaguers. New lineup, same garbage result. They bring up Stefanic so he can K 3 times. Might as well have kept Wade. Well, look, I think that we all need to temper our expectations for Michael Stefanic. The man has struck out 12 times in AAA and was, of course, injured for a while and has had a couple of rehab assignments. The man flew from Salt Lake to Houston like last night or the night before, you know what I mean? And so I don't imagine that was a very pleasant, quick turnaround for him. He's probably excited, nerves, but I mean, you know, he struck out 12 times this season in the minors. So that's a skill I think that translates to Major League Baseball in terms of moving from AAA to the majors. I think a good eye is something that doesn't adjust with the level at which you're at. I think that's an inherent quality that you have. And I think, of course, he's going to strike out 3 times his first time up, and it's his first taste of the bigs. There's nerves involved. There's all kinds of stuff like that. And I just don't let that be your expectation. I think in 2 weeks, we're going to look at Stefanic and say, hey, look at this guy. I mean, there's a reason he's hit so well all throughout his career. And it probably has a lot to do with that patient eye. So I'm not worried about the 3 Ks, but what did you think about Stefanic and those 3 Ks? Same thing?
I think before we post anything, you got to take a deep breath. That's what needs to happen, right? And I'm with that. I'm with this fan. I'm 100% frustrated with this team, and it feels like, man, we make a move and it doesn't benefit us. But we have to remember, and Perry has said this, that he doesn't look game by game. He looks in like 6-week to 13-week chunks. And so I think that we're going to see Stefanic play a whole lot more, because I think they want to get a good idea of who this guy really is.
Absolutely.
And he just fit right in with the team on Sunday with the strikeouts. Everybody was striking out, which I think goes back to our earlier conversation. There has to be a discussion about Jeremy Reed, because now Stefanic has inherited that strikeout swing and he's missing pitches. And I'm wondering if there has to be some sort of connection between how they're hitting and Jeremy Reed and even Paul Sorrento.
Well, look, I know I was busy this weekend, but I saw Framber Valdez's sinker, and that thing was freaking nasty. Like, come on.
He was good.
I saw one of Trout's strikeouts, and yes, it did touch the corner, and Trout probably should have tried to foul it off, but anybody would have been fooled by that sinker. That thing was moving. It was like a Frisbee. It was ridiculous. Speaking of Reed and kind of coaching, we have this one from Jose Medina at J Medina Photo on Twitter. He said, absolutely horrendous managing by the Angels staff. At this point, nobody's place in the lineup should be safe. Trout batting 7th. Why not? Right now, he's part of the problem.
I hear you.
Go ahead, Mike.
I hear you. I think that any move right now is got to be a move that they would consider. I just wouldn't want them to get so desperate that they start just kind of throwing up any sort of lineup out there. I think that when we finally get our manager back and we finally get our full team back, then we'll kind of see what we've got with this new lineup. But Bill Hasselman has not been a successful manager in the major leagues, and Ray Montgomery is brand new, and Phil Nevin is brand new. And so we've got to get some time under Nevin's belt before we can actually start to say, hey, that's good or that's not so good. I think the move to pull Suarez out on Sunday was awful. Should have stayed in there. And so, and then I did like that they moved Ward to clean up, and they had the art lead off, which was great. Yeah. But those are the types of moves that they need to continue to do. And I'm with you with this bunching the lineup, and maybe we need to move Trout and Ohtani around. The only problem with that is their protection for each other.
Right.
And they're not going to skip over Trout to get to Ohtani if they're both hitting really, really well. Now, if they're all struggling, then it kind of is a moot point. But I'm with you on, let's figure out a lineup that actually works. Let's see what the guys that we have right now can actually do first. And so I think we got to have at least maybe 2 or 3 weeks before we really start getting desperate with the lineup.
Well, I know that Mike Trout does struggle at Minute Maid Park. Remember last year he got hit on the shoulder, or the elbow, I should say, by a pitch, and he was leaning into it because he thought it was a slider.
Yeah.
And he was mic'd up, and he told Alex Bregman, he's like, I couldn't see it. Like, I couldn't tell, that it was a slider. And so he's just never seen well at Minute Maid Park. I don't know if it's the batter's eye. It's kind of a green, like bush covered batter's eye out there.
Yeah.
Maybe they change the color of it when Mike Trout's up somehow so that he can't see it. But look, it's against, he was terrible in this Astros series, but historically he's been awful at Minute Maid Park. But earlier this week, he was pretty darn good. So I don't think that he's going to have a long struggle here. But I will say, I did like seeing Taylor Ward in that 4th spot. All that's missing from this team now, Joe Adell. I think that he should be up instead of Monte Harrison,
right?
Who had some speed and showed some wheels. But I do like Villar leading off, and maybe that'll come back to bite me later this week. But until it does, I'm excited to see it. It makes sense. But again, I think that with Trout, it was just kind of that stupid park. I hate Minute Maid Park. I hate the jigsaw puzzle. I hate the juice box. It's so annoying. And of course, Mike Trout struggles there all the time. But going back to like the coaching and the managing, Nevin's been out, and this was game 6 on Sunday. He's got 4 more. And of course, he won't be back until the weekend because we have 4 games during the week. And so that is never a fun thing. I know that he's still been able to like put the lineups together and structure things. So I do appreciate that they were able to try this lineup on Sunday. And so I look forward to where we're headed with kind of these new pieces. But, the solution right now is part of the solution is calling up pieces like Stefanic and trying out things and going and getting like a Villar. But I still contend that you got to make some bigger moves. I still think that we should have gone after like a Drury or Andujar, because Villar just got DFA'd, right? And it makes sense for us to pick him up and have him be a fill-in. But he can't be a fill-in all year long.
Yeah.
And with him, it's not a playoff team. I will say this too. I think with the coaching, we haven't seen Perry Manassian's choices yet with this team.
Right.
And I have a sneaky suspicion that everyone that we're frustrated with right now, from bullpen to pitching to hitting coach and managerial stuff, I think it's all going to change. And I think Perry Manassian is going to get his chance to pick his guys. I would be interested to see what happens this offseason, especially with maybe moving some pieces and kind of restructuring this team, because I think the window is 3/4 shut on the Angels now.
Oh, for sure.
And as the season goes on, I think we got to win for Trout. We got to win for Ohtani. I think that window is slowly shutting down. So I think that Perry is going to make some hard decisions in this offseason, and I think it's all going to start with the coaching staff too.
Well, with all these young guys coming up, like Stefanic, and then the Angels made a trade for a young guy with the Braves,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important for you to check out the Locked On MLB Prospect Show because Lindsey Crosby knows the names, he knows their mamas, he knows their address, like he knows everything about these prospects. And the guy that they got from the Braves, he is somebody that is intriguing. And so John and I will talk
Mm-hmm.
about that soon, but he's intriguing. Lindsey Crosby will have him nailed down. He'll have all the details that we need. And so I would encourage you to check out the Locked On MLB Prospect Show. Lindsey's great. He's going to go deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. His podcast is free and it's available wherever you get podcasts.
Hey, if you want to get in on the conversation, please give us a follow on Twitter at Locked On Angels. You can also connect with Mike and I at Super Halo Bros on Twitter and Instagram. We'd love to hear from you. We always do our best to try to respond to everybody. So if we didn't get a chance to get back to you, please don't feel bad. We're always working our way through responses there. But we love connecting with you on social media. Mike, what do we have on deck for tomorrow's show?
Well, Rob Manfred, John's favorite person, said that robo-umps are probably coming next year.
Oh.
And Max Stassi and Matt Theis actually had some interesting things to say about that, and so do we. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow on Locked On Angels.
Awesome. Looking forward to that conversation. Well, everybody have a safe and happy holiday, 4th of July. Enjoy your time, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow on Locked On Angels. Until then, my name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
And we'll see you right back here tomorrow for more Locked On Angels.